Do you do your best thinking when you're wired or in your sleep? Are you one of those people who needs to plan things out ahead of time to the most minute detail? Or do you let things go until the last possible moment when you pull the proverbial rabbit out of the hat? Mercury is the planet of what I think in astrology, and there are as many different kinds of intelligence as there are signs in the zodiac. Hello. My name is Christopher Renstrom, and I'm your weekly columnist here on Astrology Hub. And I wanted to talk to you this week about Mercury entering the sign of Gemini on May 3rd. Mercury in Gemini is a playful, wonderful placement. And in fact, the whole notion of games and play are very much wrapped up with Mercury in this particular sign. It makes me want to ask you, what is your relationship to play in your life? And I want you to return to your childhood, to your early education. And the reason why I want you to return there in your thoughts is because Mercury in Gemini is very much wrapped up with the third house, which is the house of our early education and our early environment. Now, what are the things that we are dealing with when we talk about early education and our early environment? Well, we might be dealing with siblings, for instance, or with playmates and play dates, and the way that we perform in school, and sometimes more importantly, the way that we perform on the playground. Mercury is essentially in Gemini, Mercury is about the way that we play with others. How do we engage them? Were we the kid who sort of clung to the parents' pants leg? Or did we go out and meet and greet and have a lot of fun? Did we engage other children in plays of fantasy with adventures and in magical realms? Or were we strictly glove and baseball type of kid and we were getting together the next softball game? How you approach play is very much described by Mercury, particularly Mercury in Gemini, and it's something that I want you to think of during the time that it's in this sign. What I also want you to think of is the way that you relate to winning and losing. Was your idea of winning like, oh yeah, I beat that person and I really gave them a hard time? Or was your idea of winning like, okay, I won that one, let's play another round? Okay, so the way that we deal with good sportsmanship, the way that we deal with play, does it get fiercely competitive or is it embracing the spirit of fun? Again, is going to be ideas or themes that are going to come up for you during this time that Mercury is passing through the zodiac sign of Gemini. What is your relationship to learning? Do you have a curious mind that's open and you can't wait to learn a new fun fact? Or when you learn, do your mental wheels kind of gum up? If a teacher asks you a question, do you freeze up on the spot and fumble around for the answer? Were you the kid who hid behind the notebook and didn't want to be asked a question in class? Or were you always the one who was like raising your hand and wanting to answer the next question? As you can imagine, that was me. I was always raising my hand, wanting to answer the next question. So much so that the hand would go up and then it would like lean over my head as I sighed with exhaustion and tiredness as the teacher looked for someone else to call on to answer the question in class. All of these things are things that I want you to reflect upon, because as Mercury makes its way into Gemini, you will find yourself playing a game. And I'm not just talking about Scrabble or Monopoly, but it might be a game at work. There might be a situation in which you have to figure out the answer to a problem, that it's on you to come up with the solution. Or maybe you're in your neighborhood where you're dealing with neighbors and you're trying to get them to rally around some sort of neighborhood block watch or cleanup committee, something in which you're banding people together. Or you may be asked to participate in an enterprise or a group effort. And what you may experience is a lot of the things that you experienced at a younger age coming to the forefront. Now, for some of you, that might be like, wow, I forgot how good I was at baseball, or I forgot what a great colorist I was, so it might be this wonderful sort of like restoration and re-embracing of long lost talents or skills. But for others of you, it may be a return to feeling rejected, like when you tried to play with the other kids in the sandbox and they told you get away or laughed at you or the way that you dressed. You may have an experience of that, or you might have an experience of having been cheated or having lost in defeat time and time and time again. So again, I want you to sort of reflect on these feelings as they come up during this period of time, and explore where you are nowadays with it versus where you were in the first grade or in the fifth. So, as these feelings come up, explore what you're feeling, but also you have an opportunity to sort of redirect it. It's one of those opportunities where the present you can almost talk to the juvenile you, the kid that was coming up through the ranks, and to kind of reassure in some sort of way. And I think that that's a wonderful experience to have. When you think about the way that you play and how the way that you play was formed by these formative years, or when you think about learning and how the way that you learn was also formed by these formative years, it can be very insightful and it can be very informative to where you are right now. But again, it also, in a Mercury and Gemini way, gives you an opportunity to revisit, to redirect, and to rewrite the script. And that's something that I want you to keep in mind, as Mercury will be in Gemini for an extended stay because of an upcoming retrograde. Mercury will be in Gemini from May 3rd to July 11th.